into the crime. Murder Man podcast. Andy got the facts. Amanda spitting fast. Delve into the night. Mysteries unfold. Cold cases sitting deep. Not a story told.
Back again.
Oh, season 2 back again by popular demand. All the
Oh my
fans
God.
wanted it.
Back again in the studio for Murder Man.
Except one fan.
Oh yeah, that motherfucker.
Yeah, fuck
Are you
that
serious?
guy. Fuck you, bro. You know who
What's his
I'm talking
name?
about? I don't even know. I don't even care. Fuck him.
All right, fine. We had one hater. But like Andy's not used to haters yet. I get them all day every day, so it doesn't matter to me.
I mean,
but
I know people hate me, and I hate them too. But it's just a little different to like come at somebody.
yeah, I know, but I get cummed at. Oh my God, that sounded so bad. they they just come at me all the time. So I'm like, what are you gonna do?
What else do you get?
I don't know. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Huh?
But can you believe we're back in the studio? You and me, Murder Man?
I am just so excited. There is no place I'd rather be than in the studio with you. Season 2.
All right, let's do this. You know what we're going to talk about, guys? We're going to talk about one of the most popular serial killers known to man. Everybody knows the name. I don't know anyone who wouldn't know the name. Do you?
No.
Just like it's just a random person who knows nothing about murders or serial killers would still know the name Ted Bundy.
Yes, he's like America's boogeyman, right?
Yes, and it's kind of awkward because when you think of Ted Bundy, you think, oh, he's so charming, he's educated, he kind of like looks like guy next door, and he's always smiling. He doesn't look like sadistic fucking killer.
No,
I don't think.
No, and that makes it even scarier. But he does look like a creep to me, just saying. Maybe it's hindsight.
Well, I think it's certain pictures too, and like when they like show him with his like wide eyes and when they go dark and things like that, I think that makes him look creepy. But if you just see him smiling and laughing in a photo when his eyes are bright blue, he doesn't look scary. But then there are times.
No, fair enough.
He does.
I mean, that was his whole MO too, right? Like he was able to trick girls and convince them that he was this feeble, weak guy and he needed help, and then he would kidnap them. And
he actually put like a cast on his leg, right? At one point.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite ruses. He would wear a cast and ask girls to help him put things in his car.
I was gonna say, why did he use a cast? The crutches are enough. Like he went as far as putting a cast on.
I mean, I guess he really went for it.
He had to get the job done.
Had to get the job done. No shitting around.
And he drove that little Volkswagen Beetle. My mom had that car.
Did she really?
Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, we crashed actually in that car. It wasn't exactly that color, but his was like yellowy, right? Like
it was yellow,
brown.
beige, tan, something like that.
Yeah. She had a little Beetle, and we went down a hill and hit a tree. And it was like me and her and Chris Todd, my brother's in the car. I remember. I don't know. Weird. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Why'd you hit the tree?
I don't remember. We just like swerved off the road. It was raining, and she accidentally, I don't know, something happened. We hit a tree, and no one was hurt.
That's good.
So that's good. I just feel like everyone had that car.
It's a pretty popular car.
When this was happening with Ted Bundy, 44,000 people had that car when they were looking for the killer.
In the state of Washington alone, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then they had to knock 44,000 Volkswagen Beetles down to the top 100. That's when they got like down to the nitty gritty of who they could actually look at.
And didn't like he get reported a bunch of times before? Like I feel like Ted Bundy was almost caught like a million times before he actually got caught.
Yes, but just like other killers or just like other people we've talked about, he's so charming and he was so in the community and, almost he went through law school. He didn't finish, but whatever. He was educated, and people always think like someone who's put together and educated, they don't look at them as the killer. They always people feel like killers should look dirty or nasty or something, right?
Yeah.
They don't ever think like the put together guy is the one. But if you actually think about it, think about how clean serial killers usually are. Think about Dexter. Think about people like usually they are put together.
Yeah, that's a great point. Then they have to like have this facade where they fit in with neighbors and stuff. So they have to have like really like highly intelligible social skills.
Definitely. I just think that we have, as a society, we have the wrong view of what a killer looks like. Even though we have all these examples,
You're
we
right.
still
I think
still
like
don't think so.
when we think of anything bad, we think of like a crackhead.
Exactly. And they're usually the nicest people.
Yeah, they're not going to kill you. They might rob
No.
you, but
And they probably can't even do that. They just want a couple bucks.
yeah, tell you their story.
Exactly. But anyway, I guess we can start from the beginning if you want.
Theodore Robert Bundy.
Yes, but he was not born Bundy. Did you know that?
No, why don't you tell us about that?
Okay, so I'm just saying, I just wanted to correct the beginning because I just learned this. He was actually born Theodore Cowell, like Simon Cowell.
Any relation?
I don't know. I don't think so. But that he was born in Vermont as Theodore Robert Cowell.
Yeah, New England, like me. Lot of serial killers from New England.
And I really like people from New England.
Yeah, we're cool.
I feel he has a vibe about him that I thought, oh, I like this guy when I first started reading about Ted Bundy until I learned other things. But
that's dark.
He just no, I'm saying as a serial killer, I thought, oh, he's probably the most attractive one.
You got a little thing for Ted. You said that in the last episode that you thought Ted had some good looking qualities. I'm just saying it's okay. You don't have to be shy. We all have our serial killer crushes.
That's right, Carla. So he was born Theodore Robert Cowell, and he was raised by his grandparents, and he thought his mother was his sister for years.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that.
I did know that.
Okay. And here's when his name changed when in 1950 he moved to Tacoma, Washington with his mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, and he takes the name of his stepfather, Johnny Bundy.
Oh, good old Johnny Bundy. I'm sure that guy was work.
I bet Johnny Bundy is like, damn, he ruined my name.
Yeah, how do you be a Bundy after that?
Yeah, Johnny, you should change his name. Like, imagine, like, you give this kid your name and that's who he becomes.
Oh, that's brutal.
No,
yeah,
you gotta my name back.
I think, like, when you're a step parent, you gotta, like, wait and see before you give up the name that easy, you know?
Oh, the name's a big deal.
Yeah, give it some time. See what this kid really matures into. Because you bring up a great point, like, especially with a last name like yours. Everyone's going to know that that's your offspring.
Yours too. Let's tell everybody your last name.
Oh, don't you dare.
Why?
Because we don't do that.
Don't people already know?
No.
I think I said it in the first episode. I said our full names.
No, you didn't. I would have cut it out.
Oh my God. Let's say it.
I'm creepier than Ted Bundy. No.
Why?
Because we don't want to.
Come on, you're going to be famous.
Nah, that's the opposite of what I want to be.
Okay, whatever. Okay, listen.
But listen, despite him growing up and thinking that his mom was... Now, why did that happen again? Because they were a proud family?
His grandparents raised him because his mother was very young, I guess, and wasn't ready to be a mom. But then suddenly she's like, I'm going to do it, and left with him and went to Washington. And with this guy, Johnny Bundy, I guess, and then that's how, I guess he learned later on around that time, oh, she's my mom, not my sister. And I don't know if that had some sort of effect on him. It shouldn't have that kind of effect, but it says like as a teen, he started exhibiting signs of voyeurism was the first thing, and then antisocial behaviors.
Yeah, but that's one side of Ted Bundy, because the other side of Ted Bundy was that, you know, he grew up in a traditional nuclear family with his stepdad, Johnny Bundy. A lot of people say he was a great man, a good father, and he took him to church on Sundays, lots of doting. Yeah. His parents were very involved in their lives, had a strong family structure. Ted played football and sports as a kid, had friends, and seemed to be normal. But to your point, he had a super dark side.
Yeah, Ted really knew how to blend in. And he was so good at it that like he made himself good at all the things that were popular.
I got a fun fact for you.
Okay.
On one thing that Ted didn't blend in with.
What?
He had a horrible speech impediment as a kid and used to get the shit teased out of him.
Oh, wow. That'll make you pissed off.
Which is interesting because he's very articulate and well-spoken as an adult. That'll make you pissed off. You think that's what it was? You think that's why Ted became Ted?
Maybe. No, but being picked on sucks. I'm sure that it didn't help his darkness that he already had inside of him.
No, because he loved scaring other kids, and he would build punji pits in the woods. You know what those are?
Punji?
Yeah, like tiger traps or punji pits. They used to build those in Vietnam. They're just these tiger traps where there are these holes in the ground with you have these sticks that come out of them, like these sharpened spike sticks.
Oh my gosh.
You cover it with leaves or whatever, and you would trap an animal in that. It would fall in and kill itself. But he used to set those up in the neighborhood and stuff where kids
For
used to play.
people?
Yeah. And one
I
time,
thought for animals.
nah. And one time a girl fell in.
Oh, what did he do?
I think she was rescued, fortunately. What did he want to do is the question.
Yeah, but I'm sure he caught some animals, just like all the other killers do.
Yeah, I'm sure. That seems to be another MO of all the...
Since we are on, you do a fact, I do a fact, and since we're on childhood facts, I have one childhood fact.
Okay.
He once surrounded his aunt with knives while she slept, all around her on the bed, just to see how she would react.
That's dark.
I mean, imagine waking up to that and a kid standing there.
Reminds me of fucking Natalia Grace.
Yeah, like he would be out of my house and never ever welcome back.
This was his grandmother or his aunt?
His aunt. I say aunt, you say aunt, whatever. But that's,
yeah. What's that about? That must be a regional thing.
It is, definitely.
Aunt sounds weird. Because isn't
that's
there?
How, I mean,
because there's
that's
a
how
U,
we say it.
but there's a U in the word, so you guys just don't say the U.
I guess not. Is that a Southern thing, or is that just, I don't know.
Wild.
So what would you feel like if you were laying there asleep and your little nephew came in and you woke up and there's like kitchen knives surrounding you on the bed and he's looking at you?
I'd fucking punch him.
Me too.
I just punched the little shit just so he knows I mean business, and then, like you said, get rid of him.
Get rid of him. He's never allowed back.
No, he's gone. Make his parents take care of that shit.
And I don't
Probably
care
wouldn't even
if
talk to
people
his
go,
parents anyway.
I don't care if people are like, oh, he's a kid. You should help him. Nope.
No, you're allowed to hate kids. Kids are shit.
I agree. You know what? We've never talked about that before, but I talked about this with my mom too. And we were like, you know, people say like, you're not allowed to like hate a child. You're not allowed to like not hate, just like dislike a kid. I think you are.
So many kids are shitty. And what about the ugly ones that look like ugly adults?
I've met children that I just don't like.
Yeah.
Sorry. It just is what it is.
I haven't met a lot of kids. Haven't met any that I liked.
Really? You haven't met any you like?
I'm trying to think. My cousin has a kid. She's cool.
When
That's
I have a
about
kid,
it.
I wonder if you'll like it.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
You don't have to just say that. It's okay.
No, of course I'll love your kid.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Who knows?
Hopefully
it's not like Theodore.
Well, that was going to be my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather do IVF again?
No.
Or help Ted Bundy put something in his car?
Oh, God. IVF is the worst thing ever. Okay. Do I know anything about him? Or is it just like I'm just one of those people out there? Like, or do I know that he's Ted Bundy? And like you're giving me the option knowing he's Ted Bundy.
He's Ted Bundy.
Okay, so I know that I can probably get away then because I know what's about to happen.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. So you're going in there with the knowledge of what he's going to do, and you know he's Ted Bundy, so...
So I get in the car, and then I kick him in the face.
Yeah, right in the face.
And get to go, ha-ha, gotcha. And then leave.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Just punch Bundy right in the fucking face.
Yeah. That's what I would do, exactly. No IVF.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Man, it's rough. I'm getting over that, guys. We just went through a second round of IVF, so we are healing at the moment.
What's the worst part?
I think the hormones just making you go crazy, up and down, crying, and then mad, and then sad, and then like your entire body swelling. Like you feel like you have fluid everywhere. Like your stomach, even like your face, your ass, everywhere. You just feel very swollen, and it takes a while for all that to go down. So
swollen ass,
swollen tits, all of it.
It doesn't sound too bad, actually.
Yeah, except when it's your face and neck and
Yeah.
arms.
Well,
It's
you
ew.
didn't say that part.
Well, I'm just saying all of it. All of it.
Well, you know what
Are you
else? Yeah, you know what else is interesting? You know what else reminds me of you and Ted Bundy?
what?
Is that Ted also has a degree in psychology. Got it in
Yes, he does.
1966 from the University of Washington.
Good for him. That
Yeah.
actually, I mean, that actually really helped him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, helped him to understand people. Think about it. Because usually serial killers are socially awkward, but he was not.
No, you're right.
He was the opposite of that.
He also considered himself a conservative. Hated the criminal anti-war movement, so he's a Republican like Danny.
He he works yeah, he worked for the Washington State Republican Party when he was doing law school. Did you know that?
Of course, Ted Bundy's a fucking Republican.
Did you know he worked for the Washington State Republican Party?
I read that, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was accused of spying on the Democrats' rival campaign, just like Nixon's plumbers.
How
The
does he have
Watergate
time
scandal.
how did he have time to do that? Kill women, go to law school? Like, what is he even had a girlfriend? So the first girlfriend was Stephanie Brooks, right? And that's who people say inspired him, the victim type. Is that what you got as well?
No,
With
I
the
wasn't.
brown.
I only know about Liz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know about Stephanie.
Okay, so when he was at the University of Washington, he dated a girl named Stephanie Brooks, I think. I think that's her name. I saw that somewhere. Let's make sure. But she breaks up with him and he becomes very obsessed with her.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't kill her though. He becomes obsessed with her.
Okay.
And then it goes on to where he goes to law school after that, because he goes to law 1970 to 73. He was volunteering at the suicide crisis hotline.
Unbelievable. You're kidding me.
Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
Yes. So this is a big one. He volunteered at the suicide crisis hotline, which is insane. So he gets to hear all these calls of people in crisis, and right next to him is a woman named Anne Rule, who was a future crime writer. She wrote the book The Stranger Beside Me because she sat next to him and answered calls.
Oh, how odd.
Yeah.
I wonder what his vice was like.
Yeah, what would he say? I don't know. Like, I don't know much about that, but I bet her book would be very interesting.
I want to read that.
I do too. It's called The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule.
Yeah, let's check that out.
Okay? So he's with the Washington State Republican Party, like you said. He's spying on Democrats, and he enrolls in law school. He doesn't complete it, as we know, but that's when his stalking of women and like the luring and all of his fake injuries and shit, that's when that really starts happening in the 70s.
Yep, and that's when right at that time, like you said, it was, he's in law school in 1973, and in April 1974, Linda Healy, a local TV reporter, goes missing. And a huge search begins because she's so famous and she's used to being on TV. So obviously her news channel is covering her disappearance. And then
that was February 74, right? Linda Ann Healy?
Linda Ann Healy, 74.
Okay, but January 74, the month right before that, he attacks a woman named Karen Sparks in Seattle, but she survives. That was his first one. He almost killed her, but she survived and got away. Karen Sparks. And then the next month, like you just said, he abducted and murdered Linda Healy. Do you feel me?
Sure, if you say so.
I mean, that's what happened. What do you mean?
I believe you.
Yeah, just the one woman got away. The first one got away. I mean, can you imagine being her?
Yeah, I wonder if she knows what actually happened.
I don't know. I think she went to the police immediately and said, and like described the man who almost killed her. And then it was only a month later when he killed Linda. So they knew it was like the same person, same area.
You think they were making that connection so early?
I think so, because it says over the next months that several women disappear in Washington and Oregon, like right in a row. They start to happen right in a row, because that was January, February. And then July 14th, in broad daylight, at that lake is where Janice Ott and Denise Nosland, when he did the double abduction.
Yeah, but there was another girl that was taken before that in June of 1974, Georgianne Hawkins, who's a University of Watkins student, goes missing, right? She was visiting the sorority house before and she never gets home. So those two girls, Linda Healy and Georgianne Hawkins, disappeared in Seattle just blocks away from each other. And that's when police start to suspect the murders are connected because of the demographic and the geographic. So that's even before the July 14th abduction of those two other women.
So he's already got Karen Sparks. He's got Linda Ann Healy. He's got the one you just said that was before July. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then he has the double abduction in July. He's already got like 6 women.
Yeah, there's 6 disappearances in Seattle in 6 months. People stopped hitchhiking. And another thing that you might not know is that he worked for the Seattle Crime Commission, and he studied. One of his things was to study crime statistics and give recommendations on rape prevention.
What the fuck? How does he have time for all of this?
Ned doesn't sleep, just like you said before. Serial killers don't sleep. So imagine that. He worked in the crime commission, had access to all the data, and made suggestions to the city for rape prevention efforts.
And then at night, he's sitting over there at a suicide crisis hotline talking to people.
Yeah, and he did that just a year before the disappearances.
So for me, don't you think that just has to be entertainment for him?
What do you mean?
The suicide hotline. Like that, a killer like him, he's not taking that seriously. That has to be some sort of sick, disturbing entertainment for him.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, there's an element of playing God there, right?
True. Yeah.
Like you can help save someone or you can push them over.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. He was doing all of that at once, you know? Is that like, right? He moves to Utah right after this, right? When all of those happen? Right after the July?
Well, going back to July 14th, that's when, there's thousands of people gathered at this park. I think it's called Lake Squamish. Lake Sammamish.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 women go missing.
Yes, and I told you I would have gotten in the car with him.
Yeah,
the way he did it, he was good. He broad daylight. I mean, if you look at the photos, I don't know if you've seen the photos of the beach. They have photos of that day. They had everybody who was out there in the 70s who had big cameras with them bring their photos into the police station to see if they could like pick anyone out, right? In this big crowds.
Crazy.
And because not many people took tons of pictures, but there are photos. And this beach was packed with people.
Oh,
I mean, everyone was there. And then this is in broad daylight. He's on his crutches or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, can you help me put this in my car?" And what are you gonna say? No?
Fuck yeah, you say no.
Yeah,
Witnesses say a man with a broken arm was asking women to help put a sailboat in his car. I would absolutely say no. I don't help people.
I know you don't. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem like the type of place where you could just grab someone when everyone is there looking.
But what do you have to gain by helping this guy?
Nothing. I think he was just charming and like nice. So they're like, ha 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 ha, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think people are just stupid. Like, there's no need to help this fucking creep. But anyway.
And it's the 70s. Everyone's probably stoned and high. Like just, they're partying at the beach. I think it's probably easier, actually.
And witnesses also say that he was driving, like we said earlier, a brown or tan VW Bug. And that he called himself Ted. Like, how stupid. Why would he give his real name? That to me doesn't sit right. That seems opposite of the Bundy we know.
I know. Maybe it's because Ted is just such a regular name. Like Ted. It's just Ted. I don't know. You're right though. It's dumb. He should have said fucking Robert.
But it fucks him over.
That's his middle name.
It fucks him over because before the July 14th killing abductions, this is where Ted fell in love with Liz, who was a wealthy Mormon and single mom that kind of like domesticated him. Uh-huh. So after like the Lake Sammamish, is it Sammamish?
Sammamish, yeah.
Lake Sammamish murders, his girlfriend Liz, with all the press around and they're talking about the guy in the VW named Ted, and she's putting together a timeline in her head of where Ted was and he wasn't. Liz actually called the police and told them that, her Ted was the Ted. Because she had also found a bag of underwear and a bowl filled with house keys in his apartment.
Oh yeah, this is way later though. We're getting ahead of ourselves, right?
I don't know. Are we?
I thought so. I don't know. I thought we were I don't know. It feels like that's towards the end when he's about to get caught, right?
No, he gets identified by the police and let go a lot of times. This is one of the first times that he's on their record and nothing happened. Nothing becomes of it.
By the way, I'm going to correct myself. When I said his first girlfriend, Stephanie Brooks, the one that he was obsessed with, that was her pseudonym. She didn't want to tell her real name for a long time, right?
Oh, wow.
His very first girlfriend before he killed anyone. Her name was Diane Marjorie Jean Edwards. She came out with her real name because she wrote a book called, no, I don't know. That's not her book. But her real name is Diane Jean Edwards. And he was very, very much obsessed and stalkerish to her, but he didn't kill her. But she was the exact replica of the women that he killed. The brown hair, parted down the middle, college-looking chick.
So she's part of his serial killer origin story.
She rejected him. She rejected him and broke up with him. And he lost his mind. Said he was devastated. She even tried to rekindle it with him for a little while and then ended it again. And then she said he started acting like vengeful and she didn't talk to him anymore. So I'm just surprised he didn't go after her. Instead, he starts going after people who look like her.
Well, it's weird because, they say serial killers are not capable of empathy or love, but it seems like he really loved Liz and being a stepdad to an extent.
I think that's fake.
But then why doesn't he victimize them when it's so easy to victimize those around close to him?
Because you got to keep a normal life so people don't suspect anything.
I don't know, but he was never violent or anything with them as far as I know.
Right. No, I heard that too. She said that the only thing that was scary to her is all the shit that she found.
Well, going back to that. So when she called and told the police that she thought her Ted Bundy was the Ted they're looking for, it's because here's a few things. She found a bag of underwear and a bolt full of house keys in his apartment. Creepy as fuck. Yep. She also found plaster and bandages in his house and a knife under the front seat of his car.
Yep.
Right? She told police that Ted had been with her and her family the night that Linda Ball disappeared.
Uh-huh.
And that Ted left the party early that evening and was late to her daughter's baptism the next day, right?
Right.
So based on all this information, the police get excited and they prepare a photo lineup with Bundy's photo, and they show it to 8 witnesses who saw him on the day of the Lake Sammamish kidnappings, and 7 of those 8 witnesses said they were positive it wasn't him, and because of this, he was never brought in for an official interview, and his name was dropped off of the lists.
Interesting.
Which is crazy because that is so much circumstantial evidence.
Yeah.
How do you let that go? I guess they were just getting so inundated with tips, but
I just think it's too much information, and they didn't have enough people, and it was just too much. They couldn't keep up with everybody, so they wanted really big answers.
Yep. And like we said, this is July 14th, 1974. And August 8th, 1974, Ted moves to Salt Lake City to begin law school at the University of Utah. So to your point, the murders died down. Ted leaves
and then the murders amp
Washington
up.
State. And then, shit, there goes the neighborhood in Utah.
Exactly. And that's when you meet Carol DeRanch, right? Is that her
name? Carol DeRanch. What a badass. We love you,
What
Carol.
a badass. Yeah.
Love you, Carol.
She escapes. And man, I bet her dreams at night must be awful. I was thinking about that when I was watching an interview with her. I was like, holy shit, I would dream every night about that scenario.
Yeah.
Because she was so young though, wasn't she? She was so young when he did this to her. Well, I forget her age.
That was one of the wildest ones. Now she wasn't the next victim.
Oh, okay. She was coming up though, right?
Yeah. So the next victim, well, here's a fun fact. When he gets to Utah, one of the first things he does is 2 missionaries come to his door and they convert him. So Ted Bundy was actually baptized into the Mormon church pretty early on into his.
Oh yeah, and that was fake. That was a good cover.
Utah. Great cover.
Mm-hmm.
So summer 1974, he moves there in August. So late summer 1974, the police chief's daughter, Melissa Smith, is murdered in Midville, Utah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in the fall of 1974, 2 more women disappear in Utah, Nancy Wilcox and Laura Amy.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy's body was never found, but Laura's was located and she'd been beaten and assaulted. And then on November 8th, 1974, our girl, Carol Durant, is shopping at the mall when she's approached by a man who says he's a police officer and that
He
he
even has a badge.
and that he caught someone breaking into her car in the parking lot.
Uh-huh. Do you want to come see and make sure that there's nothing missing?
Yes, that was his ruse.
Uh-huh. And she's a teenager.
Yep.
So she's like, yeah.
She goes
Goes
out there.
outside. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the craziest part that she did, where her fuck up, which was that he was driving a Volkswagen Beetle and she got in, and he was supposed to be a cop.
But to your point, he showed her a badge, and yeah, she said she regretted it because she said, one, she could smell alcohol, and two, like, let's be honest, it wasn't an undercover Volkswagen Beetle.
No.
That's pretty shady.
Get real.
And then as soon as she got in, he handcuffed her and pulled the gun.
Yeah, but he got only one wrist. That saved her, I think.
Yep, that saved her, and she was able to escape. But not before he caught her a second time and started beating her in the head with a crowbar.
With a crowbar, and said she fought for her freaking life. So just fought, and then ran to another car and jumped in, right?
Yep. Fingernails split open.
Oh, God, I hate that. I hate that, by the way. I could do blood. I can do anything. Nails creep me out.
She even said that all her nails were ripped off. I just jumped in that car and said, get me the fuck out of here.
I mean, good for her. How sad and awful, but good for her.
I mean, lucky for her, yeah.
She must have helped. She must have kicked his ass a little bit.
Well, she didn't do that good of a job kicking his ass because 4 hours later, Deborah Kent is murdered on her way to pick up her brother from school. So, like, he was on a mission that night.
He was pissed off. That was it.
Pissed off.
He was like, someone got away, and he was like, fuck this. I got to get somebody else.
Yep. And at the scene of Deborah Kent's disappearance at the school, the police find a handcuff key, and it matches the handcuff on Carol's arm. So now they have it linked. Yep. So now they've linked all these Utah murders together.
Yeah, and now they're looking for someone named Ted or Theodore. They keep saying it, Ted or Theodore, and they're like, and the Beetle, and they're like the Volkswagen. So they finally get it down to 100 people. I know that.
Yeah, and I was just going to say the story gets really confusing because like we're going in and out of states as evidence becomes aware. Because on March 5th, 1975, Linda Ball's skull is found on Taylor Mountain with 6 other female bodies. And so now the police
people who were searching, who were they out? They were just like a group of people like doing something in the woods, right? They weren't actually like actively looking there. It was like a group of people, like young people doing something.
I don't recall how or what they were doing when they found the bodies.
Okay, I'm just saying it wasn't police or anything. It was like a group of people, like teens, like doing something there, like some kind of job, and that's when they found them.
Yeah.
They found the skull, and then they came out and they found all the other ones.
So they find a total of 6 other female bodies with Linda Ball's skull.
Yeah.
So now they're linking the stuff on Taylor Mountain. And then in January, God, there's just so many. I mean, he's so active in the Northwest that it's just hard to keep track of. So January 12th, 1975, Karen Campbell goes missing from the Wildwood Inn in Colorado. So this is like where he must be on vacation in Colorado, taking some time away from Utah, and starts killing out there too.
Or is he just driving between because he wants to kill in different places where it doesn't look so suspicious? What is he doing?
He did say his MO was driving and killing over long distances, different jurisdictions.
Okay.
At the time, because at the time, the early 1970s, the local jurisdictions weren't even working with each other. Nothing was digitized. There weren't even fucking fax machines, bro. So this idea of state to state agencies working together didn't exist.
They did. If you killed in one state, they didn't know you were killing in other states. They couldn't. So it's like it was so much easier. Think about that. So for him, just driving to Colorado was probably a good idea for what he wanted to do.
Definitely. I mean, did they even have the 911 system back then?
I don't know when that started.
I think that started around the time.
The 911 system. Well, all I know is he actually got arrested for possession of burglary tools though in 1975. You know that in Utah?
Yeah, it was a traffic stop.
Yeah, how stupid. And he got arrested then. So like That's how he gets arrested?
Well, that's how stupid it was. And it wasn't just that. So they chase Ted Bundy in a traffic stop. He gets arrested. In that
Mhm.
duffel bag, they find a ski mask, ice
Oof.
pick, ropes, handcuffs, a bunch more shit. Um,
Yeah, you get that guy. You take him in. Like, come on.
yeah, for sure. So what they do now is they prepare a photo. They prepare a lineup, like in real life, in person lineup with Carol, and she positively IDs Ted Bundy as her kidnapper.
Probably immediately.
And Bundy's charged with kidnapping and attempted murder of Carol.
Okay.
So you've got police from multiple states and multiple jurisdictions now that come together to discuss their cases in Aspen, Colorado. So as of right now, we've got the murders in Washington, we've got the Utah murders, and now we've got the disappearances of Karen Campbell in Colorado. So Karen Campbell, just so we remember her story, she's on vacation with her fiance and kids when she goes up to her room for a magazine. And that's the last time she's seen alive. 36 days later, her body's found. And even though it was destroyed by animals, the coroner was able to determine that she died within 2 hours of the last time that she was seen in that
How do
elevator.
they know that?
That's a great question. I really don't know.
I wonder that. Like with that kind of stuff, it's like how accurate was that then? And we have so much our tools now in science way better, but how would they know that exactly? I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just asking.
I guess it depends. I guess like it depends on what the
method?
Yeah, what the method would be, because you can you can determine if some stuff's done post mortem based on like a lack of blood flow and things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
But according to that, that means that she was abducted and killed, very, very quickly, which once again fits his MO. So soon, 2 more women go missing in Colorado: Julie Cunningham and Denise Oliverson.
Mm.
And then that's when they catch Bundy, and he's positively ID'd in Carol's lineup as the kidnapper. And now they make now at this sort of summit in Aspen, Colorado, where all these states and jurisdictions who think that Bundy could be their guy meet to discuss their case. And now and that's where they ultimately know him as that Northwest serial killer.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, and then
that he was in so many states like that,
just riding around in that beetle of death, that bug of death.
Ugh, wonder what it smelled like in there.
Oh, it must have smelled like fucking. Oh, that's a good question. What do you think it smelled like? Death, right?
I mean, yeah, there is a smell of death. If you've smelled it, you've smelled it.
That's what they say.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess there's different smells. There's like death, and then there's like the smell of like death after like formaldehyde. That's like in a hospital smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no,
Nasty.
I bet it. Actually, I don't know. He probably kept it pretty clean.
You think he had like that one of them little air fresheners, little green trees hanging
Little
up
green
there?
tree. Yes. Yes. A little green tree hanging.
Smelled
like, hey,
all piney fresh.
Get in.
Yeah, hey,
yes.
Help me fucking put this sailboat in my car. Look at that broken arm,
Haha, sorry.
And then the fucking handcuffs come on. Oh my god.
This fucking guy. He was too smooth, honestly, in the beginning like this. But then when after that, in 1976 is when he actually got convicted, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of aggravated kidnapping?
February 23rd, 1976, he goes on trial and waives his right to a jury for a bench trial, which I think is stupid. Like, what do you think about that? Would you ever waive your jury right if you're Ted to a bench trial?
Oh, man, I don't know. That's a tough one, actually. You would rather have a jury? They're going to hate you. Or maybe you could get over on them. I don't know.
I think you get a chance because this is all circumstantial evidence.
I don't know. It looks pretty bad.
It looks pretty bad, but I think a judge is going to condemn the shit out of you. I think with a jury, you still got a chance.
Yeah, the judge doesn't. They're going to look at you differently. Probably,
yeah, I think that was a huge mistake. I think that just goes back to Bundy's hubris and thinking that he can manipulate the judge by showing him his knowledge of the legal system. Which
he was such a narcissist about that. Narcissist about like law. He thought he was like a god for real.
Yeah, and like you said, in 1976, he's convicted in Utah, and he's given a 90-day psych evaluation before sentencing, where they deem him competent. But here's another thing that I find really, really controversial. He's given an indeterminate sentence of 1 to 15 years in Utah State Prison. And like, apparently there's these things called indeterminate sentences, which I'm so fucking against.
Yeah, what is that?
It's literally.
Sorry, can you hear me eating a cracker?
Oh, for
Sorry.
sure. I didn't want to call you out for being a cow, but yeah, for sure I can.
Sorry, guys.
No, enjoy. So an indeterminate sentence just means that it's indeterminate. So like whether it's the judge or someone that's a panel that's appointed or the parole board or whoever has it ultimately gets to determine when this person is released. So I think that kind of sentence is bullshit.
No, it's stupid.
It's so stupid.
I didn't even know about it until you just talked about it. Really, indeterminate, 1 to 15 years.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, there's some indeterminate sentences that don't even come with a time frame, and yeah, it's fucked up. That shouldn't be allowed in America, even if it is Ted Bundy.
I agree. Like, listen, I just want to get to this escape because it's crazy to me. When he escapes the courthouse by jumping from the window. That's my favorite part. So my favorite part.
So now it's now October 76, and he's charged and extradited to Colorado for the murder of Karen Campbell at the Wildwood Inn. And police found gas receipts and hotel brochure that put him right at the location at the time. And eyewitnesses saw him in that same fucking elevator at the Wildwood Inn where she went missing that same day. So police charged him with premeditated first-degree murder in Colorado, and he's up for the death penalty. In Colorado, the death penalty is punishment for capital murder. So he waives extradition, and Utah sends him to Colorado, where he's jailed in Aspen. And here's your favorite part of the story.
Yep, June 1977. Right?
You got it.
He escapes from Pitkin County Courthouse by jumping from a second-story window because he charmed those people as well. They let him sit in there and reading with the window open, right?
Well, he was able, for like the craziest reason, he was able to be his own co-counsel.
Exactly. So he was like studying.
Yeah, so he was allowed access to the law library. He wasn't in shackles and stuff that a normal inmate would be in. Right. He was allowed a certain level of freedom, and he was allowed access to the law library.
You know how insane that is? He's like sitting in the library, not shackled.
No, pretending to make a phone call. And when he had his moment, he went. But do you remember that for months and months before that, he would practice jumping off the top bunk barefoot so that he could start to build up calluses and know what it was going to feel like when he would make that 25-foot jump out the window?
That's pretty smart. But you know what wasn't smart? He was caught 6 days later.
Yeah, but those were a hell of a 6 days.
Yeah. Oh, what did he do in those 6 days?
Well, he got caught in a storm. He nearly froze to death. And ultimately, he headed back to town because he was cold and hungry. So he went back to Aspen and stole a car and decided to head back out of town. And that's where he was pulled over for erratic driving. So, like, this motherfucker gets caught again by pussy. And your point, the first night he's out in the woods, like, this dude finds a fucking cabin, breaks in, has dinner, gets a good night's sleep, starts heading out again, and then just, gets caught in a storm, turns around and gets back because he's a fucking
but
pussy.
could he not just, like, do the speed limit? You know what I mean? You're going to get caught reckless driving?
Yeah, it's fucking
at this
bullshit.
point?
It's bullshit.
Like, you should be very careful at this point. You got out, dude. You got out.
Well, they got him. Now he's got escape charges, too.
Yep. And then he does it again, yeah?
On New Year's Eve, 1977, he escapes again. This time he crawls through the ceiling light in his jail cell.
Man. So I've always wanted to do a prison break, though.
This is his second escape.
That's insane.
I think you would be good as a prison break.
Did you watch the show Prison Break?
No.
Okay, we're going to watch that together.
Is that our next show?
No. I just want to watch Prison Break with you. Oh, you mean just our next show to watch?
Yeah, where we binge.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. Yep. Can't wait. But okay, go for it. He crawled through the ceiling.
So he crawls through the ceiling light, which is super fucking small anyway. So he had been losing weight specifically to do this, he said.
Holy shit.
He crawls through the vent into what they call like the jailer's room, which I guess is just like where the guards would either sleep or change, like a locker room, some bullshit. Yeah. Where he crawls in there and he steals a prison uniform, a guard uniform, This motherfucker walks right out the front door and spends the next couple months on the run.
And keeps doing it.
Keeps killing. 16 days later, 2 co-eds are beaten to death with a log in a sorority house at FSU.
So he went all the way to Florida.
Yeah, he went to Florida. When they said, "Why'd you go to Florida?" He said it because it's literally the exact opposite part of the country. So he went from the northwest to the southeast.
How did he get there?
Car. Stole cars along the way.
He just drove. Okay, I didn't know if he had like one car or whatever.
Nah, he was stealing cars.
So much easier then. There's no cameras everywhere, right? You just steal a car, then steal another car. Like,
oh, it's so easy back then there, and it's super easy to fake your ID.
Oh yeah, definitely. So he kills 2 sorority girls in Florida in January.
He attacks the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University in Tallahassee, right? He attacks 4 girls that live in the house that night. He assaults all 4 of them. 2 of them are able to defend him off, and the other 2 were not. So Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman were murdered while the other 2 got away. And then
how did he attack 4 of them at once?
I think he took turns.
Oh, it wasn't all at one time.
No, he went into their rooms at different times and got them all.
Okay, I was about to say that would be crazy. What the hell? Like 4 girls?
Yes.
Yeah,
and then only 6 blocks away, Cheryl Thomas, another student's beaten to death at her home. So they have Florida has a full-blown maniac on the run.
And no one knows that it's Ted Bundy. How could he be in Florida, right?
Exactly. No one knows that it's Ted Bundy. And furthermore, he's operating under an assumed ID. So February 15, 1978, he's pulled over again and tries to escape, this time by wrestling with a cop for his gun. So think about that, bro. You're absolutely right. If Ted Bundy traveled by train, plane, boat, any other fucking method than car, where he was likely to get pulled over, he would have never been caught all these times.
And you're talking about February 15th when he was arrested, but you know what he did on February 9th, right?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
But you got to talk about that because this is what changed. Like, this is what made me like go, what about this whole case? Because he was on such a tear that he picked up a 12-year-old girl named Kimberly Leach and abducted her. And that's when everything changed for me, like with like what his MO really is, because he only killed those co-eds, right?
Yeah.
And now suddenly he's taking a 12-year-old girl. Do you think it was just like he was in a rage, so it didn't matter at that point to him?
I do. I think that was a rage killing.
Yeah.
And I don't think, because it didn't fit his standard victimology.
No, it didn't. It was darker. It felt like, we all know he has the type. Everybody knows the brown parted hair, like, and young girl, but not young girl. So when I saw that, it was like, ooh, that's so weird. He just must have been completely unhinged at that point.
I think he was. The murders are happening so close together and with such fucking reckless disregard. He's putting no distance between them. And at the time, he was using an assumed ID of his kid named Kenneth Meisner, who was a real 29-year-old FSU law student.
Oh, shit.
And he had like a bunch of other fake IDs and stuff with him. It's unfucking believable. So when he gets arrested for this time for escape, he admits that the ID and the name are fake, but he won't say his name. He won't disclose his name, so the judge denies him bond.
Wow.
So there's another time Ted could have got away with it. If he just gave a fake name, he could have got out. He could have got bonded out and got away, but he knew he couldn't give the name Ted Bundy.
That's crazy. And what is also crazy too is if he would have just like calmed himself down, didn't abduct the 12-year-old, and didn't escalate it like that, I feel like he could have kept going. I mean, that sounds crazy, but like he got like desperate, reckless. He was impulsive. It kind of shattered the image of what his type was. Like right there, it just proved to me that he was just a sadistic predator. He's going to harm anybody. Yep. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, I think it did matter to him in the beginning, and now it just didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, he becomes an animal of opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And he put her in a pig farm. A pig shed. That girl.
That's where he buried her?
Yeah, her body wouldn't be found for two months, and it was in a pig shed. Her death was brutal, but revealing, I guess.
How do you go from that level of depravity and lack of humanity
Yeah.
to, once again, going back to his girlfriend Liz, like, who he seemingly loved, because he finally agreed to identify himself as the real Ted Bundy in exchange for a phone call with Liz. That's all it took.
Yeah, I think he probably just wanted someone who he thought trusted him to talk to him.
Which is crazy because at this point she had already assumed him to be the killer and she was just over this fucking guy.
Exactly. And he didn't know she had done that, though.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
But they had so much on him. He was the chief suspect in the Chi Omega murders, too. He had the stolen credit cards from a local bar. And he lived at a boarding house just blocks away from the sorority. So that goes back to your point of he's erratic. His modus operandi of like traveling large distances, not killing in his own local neighborhoods and stuff, that shit's out the window because he's killing right in his own backyard while he's on this. Sorry, I'm fucking blown away that like we're telling the Florida version of the Ted Bundy story, because like just what happens in Florida is enough to be like a mega serial killer piece of shit.
It is. And the girl, the young girl, she's actually the one who sealed his fate, if you think about it. It was her case that put him to death.
Yeah, you're right.
It was the young girl's case where the jury sentenced him to murder in 1980, a full year after his first death sentence. He had a first one, but that one sealed it.
Yeah, 1978, July 7th, 1978, he's indicted for the murder of Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy. Those are the two Chi Omega sorority girls that were murdered.
Exactly.
And the coolest part was that a Florida Supreme Court ruling let the trial be open to the public and televised. And this is really the first time that anything like this had ever been televised for the public. I
was going to ask you, was it the first time?
Yeah. Anything to that magnitude for sure.
Damn.
And like you said, May 9th, 1979, his Florida murder trial begins, and Bundy is facing the death penalty for the murder of those two sorority girls.
Yep. I mean, what a fucking creep. Like, I just wonder what he was feeling in court, because when you see the videos of him and he's like talking and he's talking and he's talking, it's like, what do you think he's feeling? Do you think he's feeling any sort of anything, like remorse?
I think he's on such a high.
Yeah, me too. Uh-huh.
I think he's on such a high.
Like he feels good about himself.
Yeah, and like what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves representing himself. So in this one's interesting too, because in Florida, he ultimately agrees to enter a plea deal for life without parole in a Florida penitentiary in exchange for taking the death penalty off the table. So June 1, 1979, he goes to court for his plea bargain where he's supposed to plead guilty, and he completely sabotages the whole thing. He attacks his lawyer's ineffectiveness and attempts to fire his lawyer right there in front of the judge.
What an idiot.
What a fucking idiot. But he later admits in a jailhouse interview it was just a ruse and he was never going to plead guilty. He just wanted to have that moment where he could shit on his lawyers and try to, show himself as the intellectual of the group.
He's almost like one of those shock factor people. Like, oh, watch this. Watch what I can do. And also when you do stuff like that, it just, it delays. It delays everything.
Yeah, you're right.
And he was really good at delaying his death.
Oh my God. If anyone was good at the amount of stays this guy got and the ability to just push it out and push it out.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
He would tell you anything just to let's give this interview and say all these things. But let's talk in the third person instead. So I'm not admitting anything, but I'm telling you everything.
Well, yeah, that goes to his jailhouse interviews where you're talking about. He did that third person hypothetical O.J. Simpson, if I did it bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. But it was pretty chilling, wasn't it?
Oh, it's terrifying because he described all the murders in clear detail and the MO and.
Yeah, but he was so smart that he didn't say he did it though.
Yeah, right? I mean, I guess there's a technicality there. That's
the point. He's never going to say he did it. If he talked in the third person, they can't say he said, I did it.
Yeah, so at that point, there's no confession.
Right. It's like a confession without a confession.
Yeah, it's like an Alfred plea, right?
I don't know. It's crazy. It was amazing. I really liked watching those, just to see his brain and how it worked.
Yeah.
Super intelligent. You got to say that.
Well, that's why it's surprising that he was allowed to be fucking co-counsel, because he's not even a lawyer, Amanda.
No, but they were like, oh, he went to law school for
Who
a while.
cares? That doesn't allow you. That doesn't allow you to be a lawyer. The judge just had a fucking hard on for Bundy. He had like a man crush on him, big time. Fucking.
I don't know. I think
man
you're allowed
boner.
to represent yourself if you want. I think now, right? Can't you do that?
You are allowed to represent yourself, but typically they don't make you in charge of your own defense. They put him in charge. This judge ruled that Ted was competent to stand trial. He was in charge of the defense, and he was co-counsel. So that allowed him to do amazing things. That allowed him to give arguments and cross-examine witnesses to the stand.
Dude, I do believe he was competent, though. He was just a psychopath. He was definitely competent.
Want to hear another fun fact?
What?
Of all the motions that he filed just to fuck with people,
Yeah.
he filed a motion for a change of menu. Not a change of venue, a change of menu, because he was sick of eating the same hamburgers.
Shut the fuck up.
And that it was affecting his ability to prepare a proper defense.
Ah! Did they give him a steak?
I think they changed his meal. I think they gave him like some fucking
Pasta?
some vegetarian options or some shit.
Did they do? That kills me. That's what he was like sitting around writing up.
That's what I mean, that kind of reminds me of me in a sense. Like, that's what I'd be doing, sitting around like writing up shit to fuck with the judge.
Yeah, because that's delaying things. He's fucking around again, right?
Yep.
Oh, did you know that he was the first person to, he had the bite mark on a victim's butt?
Yes.
And that was the first time a bite mark was evidence that secured a conviction.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because how bullshit and junk science is bite mark evidence. Let's be honest.
Dude, have you ever seen a fucking a mold of your teeth or your mouth?
I don't give a shit.
I'm telling you, it's perfect.
Okay, you're talking about I think you're talking about like identifying body through dental records and stuff like that. I'm talking about a bruise pattern based on hypothetical where the teeth would have been. I think it's bullshit.
Sometimes, but what if it's perfectly marked? Like you bite, I can bite. Okay, listen. I'm being nasty. Okay, sometimes I bite during sex.
Okay.
And I can make my teeth marks exactly, in your shoulder or whatever. Like you could see my teeth. It's not just like a blur. Like my fucking teeth marks are there.
Okay, but is that enough to show that those only your teeth mark and they couldn't be anyone else's?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's bullshit.
Whatever. It worked.
Well, you and your sex marks.
Just saying. I'll show you sometime.
Yeah,
bite your arm now.
Why don't you bite my shoulder?
Bite your arm right now.
Nah, it's not as fun.
And look and see if it looks just like your fucking teeth marks.
I see teeth marks. I just bit my arm pretty hard. I see teeth marks, but I don't see enough to convict someone.
Okay. Well, you didn't bite hard enough. You didn't break blood.
No, I didn't bite myself to where I bled. Correct.
Okay.
We're not doing a real fucking experiment over here. Just
okay, fine.
Biting myself.
I'll do it to Daniel later and take a picture.
Yes, please do.
He'll be so pissed off. He does not like shit like that. Like when it's too rough, no one wants to bleed.
No.
Or maybe they do. Okay. So, I think I had another fact for you.
Okay.
Oh, you probably have this, though. He said that he felt like part of him was possessed. Did you see that?
No.
He believed that part of his personality was a possessed force, and he also blamed violent porn for overtaken. It's like he called it an entity that he couldn't control because of the violent porn he had watched. And I'm thinking, what porn were you watching? What was the 70s?
Yeah.
So he was talking about those rooms where you can go and watch porn. I don't know what they were called, but you know what I'm talking about, like the back rooms.
No.
Yeah, like back rooms of where you can rent movies and shit, but they would have a nasty back room where you could watch porn movies.
Like they had those in the old shitty video stores back in the 90s.
Yeah, okay.
The adult room behind the curtain.
Yes, just like that. Apparently he used to go to those a lot. And he said he blamed the violent porn. He watched
Wait,
like really,
that
yeah,
doesn't stack up though because they don't have like videotapes and shit in the 70s.
yeah, they do.
Nah.
Uh-huh.
You weren't renting videotapes in the 70s, no way.
Not renting. He said he went into these rooms. He went to these
Ew.
rooms where they were playing violent porn, where people were like hurting each other. Porn.
Ew. They had those things existed?
Yeah,
That's gross.
I'm just saying that's what he said.
It's nasty.
Like it. Of course, it's nasty, but like you can see that's.
Yeah, I could see that fucking you up.
I don't know if I can just see that a lot of weird fucking dudes might go in there and look at that. But when he said violent porn, it was like, how many people actually do that?
I don't know, man.
I
Hopefully
don't
not
know.
too many.
I don't know. I'm gonna ask right now the internet what kind of rooms these were.
I didn't really find out much find out any information about these rooms that you're talking about. So maybe that was
Well, it was
an
a fact. It
obscure
was one of those
fact.
facts. Yeah.
Obscure fact.
It says this dives into a darker, less discussed layer of Bundy's psychology. When Bundy spoke about violent pornography, especially in his final interviews with Dr. Dobson, which you've seen, right? He claimed that it played a major role in fueling his fantasies with sickness, it says in quotes. While everyone said his claim was wildly criticized as manipulative and his last-ditch effort to stay and delay execution.
Sure.
So what he said, the places he went to in the 60s and 70s, adult bookstores with private back rooms, and they often showed loops of violent and hardcore porn on small screens.
That's
so
disgusting.
He did that. And then he did peep show booths, coin-operated rooms where users would go and put a coin in, and it would show you short pornographic clips, sometimes violent or fetish-based. And it was coin-operated, so anyone could just do that. And then underground theaters that specialized in extreme or rough content in seedier parts of the city. And then the last thing is he collected magazines of bondage, abduction, and snuff.
Yeah, so I mean that's
crazy.
That's where he ended up, right? Acting out that shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think he probably got a lot of his ideas from that. Like the abduction and the bondage. I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that made him do it. I think that he probably went there for ideas.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking sadistic to another level, and the jury agreed too because after 6.5 hours of deliberation, they find him guilty on both murder charges. Boom, sentenced to death. They got him sentenced to death. Oh, super fast.
Oh, by the way, he said he tried to position this. Look at how he's trying to be a good guy as a cautionary tale. He says that, quote, it happens in stages. Pornography can reach a point where it becomes an addiction. And he's like trying to make himself like, oh, I was just an addict from porn and it made me do these things. It's like, no, guy, no. That maybe like helped you out with some ideas, but you were a psychopath serial killer.
Yeah, he's using like I was drunk.
Yes.
It's not my fault.
Oh, she shouldn't have worn that skirt so short.
Oh, you went there. You went there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's the type. Oh, she shouldn't have done that. She should have been wearing something more. They shouldn't have had those porn rooms for me to go into. Like he blamed a lot of things.
Yeah, guy's fucking delusional. He still thought he was going to win his trial. If you watch that trial, you see his face when he loses. He's fucking delusional.
Wow, he's so delusional that did you see where the guy that was interviewing him all those times said that like he had the brightest bluest eyes and sometimes they would just go completely black when he was talking. And I've seen that happen with people before. I don't know if you have.
I mean, are you talking like symbolically or?
No. Like you're talking to someone and when they're very, very angry, their eyes turn black.
Like where my eyes are brown, it would be black?
Yeah, like where my eyes are blue, they would be dark.
I've never seen that. That doesn't sound real.
It's real. And I will say this to buddy, because everybody knows we're bipolar, right?
I
I
never told anyone that.
Yeah, we did.
I'm just
Very
kidding.
first episode.
I'm just kidding.
When I'm really manic, and you should look at yours, but it's harder for you because you have brown, like darker eyes, right? But I have blue eyes. So when I'm manic, my pupils get so big and dark, my eyes look black. I'm gonna send you a picture.
Okay.
It's insane. Like, so I'm telling you that does happen, but apparently his did that anytime he was angry. His eyes turned black, and the woman who fought him off, what was her name? She said it too.
Carol?
Yeah. She said that he when she met him, it didn't look like that, and then when they were fighting, his eyes were dark.
So it's like a tell. You see someone's eyes go dark, you get the fuck out of there.
You get out. And
Yeah.
that happened to me with an ex-boyfriend who would get that way too.
Well, I'm glad that, you got the fuck out.
Yes. The eyes, it's crazy. The eyes can tell you some things, man.
So he goes on trial again, Amanda.
Oh,
like
wait,
this
when?
story never fucking ends.
When does he?
November 1979.
Okay.
He goes on murder trial again for another capital offense. And this time it's the prosecution has tons of forensic evidence, blood, fibers. Once again,
Yeah.
he defends himself, and this time he only calls one witness, his friend Carol Boone.
Oh, I forgot about this. Okay,
This
keep
bitch.
going. Yes.
Where
She was
during
obsessed with him, right?
obsessed with him. I guess they were old friends back in Washington or whatnot, and
Yep.
she came
She
out
always
to
wanted
defend him. Always wanted him. So he pulls the ultimate, right? So while he's cross-examining her on the stand, he asks her to marry him, and she says yes.
What a fucking moment that was.
What a moment! Like, why do you think he did it at that moment?
Because he loves a stage.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? He
Yeah.
wanted to make a fucking mockery of the court,
Yep.
and it was legal to do that.
Yeah. And he
And
said,
he didn't give a shit about her, though, right?
oh, I'm sure he didn't. He said in the jailhouse interview that he did it on the hopes that the jury wouldn't sentence him to death on his wedding day. Like, what?
wow.
Like, that's the level this guy thinks at. That's such...
Yeah, like, oh, they're going to feel so bad for me. Look, we just got engaged.
Yeah, so they'll spare him of the...
Oh, let them have a honeymoon.
But
What?
it doesn't work. 1981, Ted goes back to death row and says he did a ton of fucking drugs on the row.
What, he did?
Yeah, he said the dope on death row was so strong it would make him hallucinate, and he fucking loved it.
Oh, wow. I would have done the exact same thing.
I would do so many drugs if I was on death row.
Yeah, if that's allowed. I mean, if, not allowed, but if that's what I could get on death row, I'm on death row. You better believe I want to be checked out
Oh, yeah. And do you know how they would get the drugs in?
by someone's ass.
Kind of. Carol would first smuggle them in her vag.
Okay, same thing.
Then when she would be in the room with Ted, he would take them out of her vag and smuggle them in his ass back to his cell.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Vag to ass.
Vag
But-
to ass. You always want to go vag to ass, not ass to vag. Right?
That's right. I was
Gotta-
going to say it.
Gotta fucking remember that, y'all.
Listen, we are dirt bags, and we know it. But did he had time with her alone like that?
Yeah, he had so much time alone with her.
What
He
is
got-
wrong? These
Yo.
people.
He had so
They
much.
They just let him have his own free time with this woman.
He had so much free time with her. He got the bitch pregnant.
Oh, I know. How insane.
New husband, father, stepfather. He's trying to build the all-American nuclear family, man.
Yep.
God
And that
damn.
girl, she's super anonymous, changed her name and never is ever going to come out of the hiding. His daughter.
Oof. His daughter,
You know?
Rosa? Yeah,
Yeah, she's like, no one can find her, right?
that's crazy.
Isn't that true? Or am
I don't know.
just...
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure she
I-
would have changed her name by now.
She definitely changed her name, like early. But I'm just saying, I don't know that. Would you ever tell anyone that's your father?
No, and you never see like an interview with her or anything like that. So you're right. She's probably underground.
Do you feel like, I thought about this when I thought about her. When you feel like, would you sometimes worry you had something dark inside of you if you were born from someone like that? Because I feel like I would feel that way.
Like a dark passenger.
Yes, Dexter. But would you feel that way? Like maybe, oh my God, what if I'm capable of that because I was born from a serial killer?
I think
I don't
so.
know.
I don't know if that you would feel that way. It's like, okay, that's a fact, but I'm sure you would have intrusive thoughts like that all the time.
I think so. I would feel like icky about myself.
Anytime you get weird, like, oh, you
Mhm.
like that bloody steak a little bit too much, or
And you're like, oh shit.
oh shit, you laugh too hard when someone gets like, I don't know, hit by a train, like, oh shit.
Damn, that would be fucked up. There was one more thing I wanted to tell you though.
What? Do it.
I want to find her, by the way. I'm going to find her ass.
You're good at skip tracing. You can find people.
I can. But we're talking about how like he married the girl, right? Got her pregnant, whatever.
Yep.
But there were like hundreds of women lined up at his trials, believing he was innocent, and so many of them attracted to his intelligence and charm, they wanted him.
Yep.
Andy, hundreds of women.
Yep.
Who are these women?
You know what? It's such a sick fucking subset of the population that's in love with
It's
serial
unbelievable.
killers.
Yeah, but they're just standing outside like, please be with me, Ted. After he kills women, lady. Like,
Uh-huh.
do you think he's going to fall in love with you? And what next?
Well, he's like the ultimate player. You know what I mean? Like,
But he's going to kill you.
yeah, but all the girls want to be that one girl that can tame the player, you know?
That's true. Like,
Make him a family man like Liz did.
Let's change that guy.
I'm gonna change him, make him get 2 jobs.
Yeah, and I'm gonna sleep with a knife every night.
God damn. Well,
I do that anyway.
oh yeah, that's dangerous, dude. That thing is no joke.
My knife?
Yeah, it's scary.
I know. Daniel gets nervous about it.
I don't know why you need one that big, that close to your head.
He's like, you take Ambien and shit. Like, I don't really like the knife.
Nah, he's right.
Bed.
He's right though. That could be have a night terror and he's fucked.
I know. Oh my God, you're right. Maybe I should move it.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Now you're making me nervous about me, about myself.
See, now you're starting to question if you have the gene. Do you have the dark passenger gene?
I have a lot of genes. I don't know.
Yeah, you've got so many.
Blue jeans.
Black jeans.
It's true. You're right. Like, are you talking about like denim?
Yeah, denim jeans. A closet full of black jeans. They all look the same too.
You're stupid. I'm into blue like mom jeans right now. So
oh yeah.
we changed it up.
Like they're all loose and shit.
Yeah, they're awful. They're so ugly.
So bad.
And I just keep wearing them because
so
it's like the style.
Why you gotta be so stylish?
Oh, I'm glad that I just made you admit that you hate my jeans. Boom. What the fuck? I can't believe you. Wow. That's all I gotta say.
Nah, it's not that I hate the jeans. It's just that I don't love them.
You like? So you're saying you don't like the loose jeans that you like the skinny blacks better?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. I
So
thought my 90 ones were looking pretty cool lately.
90s are cool, but the 90s wasn't a flattering time, you know?
You love the 90s.
I love the 90s, but I'm not going to say that like 90s style was great. A lot of mom jeans and vests and all sorts of shit.
I would like to see you in the pants that I just got you from the 90s, and I want that to be you in those pants, but we're going to put Ted's head on there, and that'll be our next Instagram post.
Okay. We could do that.
We want those 90s pants on.
Oh, I fucking love those 90s pants, but those aren't going to be flattering. I'm going to look like a fat fuck.
Well, that was the point.
You bitch.
Fuck you. I can't believe I got you to finally admit to me that you hate my pants.
You hate them.
No, I wear them.
You said you hate them.
I don't hate them. I don't hate
They're
them.
not flattering, I'll say that.
Which ones? All of them?
No, that one pair, you know?
Which ones?
The one pair that's
pissed.
The one pair that's super wide.
Super wide?
Yeah.
You mean like the legs part? It's like real wide all the way down?
Yeah, it's the same. Like they're like Jenkos.
Oh man, I love those.
You love
Okay.
those Jenko jeans? No, that wasn't my style.
No, I mean the ones you're talking about, I think I really like those, but I'm gonna have to go back and look and see on the podcast,
I
on
would,
my other podcast to see.
what do I know?
Dude, that's funny as fuck though that you said that.
I
Okay,
just like skinny jeans.
fine, whatever. Do you have any more funny, creepy facts about
Okay,
Theodore?
let's see. I sure do.
Okay,
Well, we know what happens now. You know, he gets the death penalty. He's gonna die and all this bullshit. Takes 3 years to do it. It's got all these appeals and
that's not
whatnot.
very long, actually. Most people are on death row forever.
Yeah, he keeps getting these. Like you said, he keeps getting these stays of execution
I know, but you're saying it only took 3 years though for him to die?
to exhaust all of those appeals. Yeah, through the appellate
Okay.
courts, all of his
Okay.
stays of execution. So he gets his execution date, and he starts admitting a few things. So he admits to the FBI that he's a necrophiliac and that he would revisit the corpses. And like they had no idea that that was even a thing before Ted Bundy.
That was gonna be my next thing.
Oh,
Did you know he used to groom them and put makeup on them?
oh, how creepy!
Yep.
Ew.
He told it. Obsessed with control, he returned to the victims' bodies, groomed them, applied their makeup, and arranged them how he wanted.
I wonder how long after decomposition he would visit them. How disgusting.
But you have to do that pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, I
You
don't
can't
know.
put makeup on somebody after like so long.
And he would fuck them for a while.
Wow.
'Cause he was a necrophiliac. That's wild.
That's insane. How long can you do that before it's not like you can't do it anymore because of like you can't get
What?
it in because rigor mortis or whatever. You
Yeah.
can't. How long?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to like let my imagination fucking run wild, but
Okay.
I'm sure you could figure out ways to do it for a while.
I guess. He got creepier and creepy. Like us going over this whole trial, like he's so much worse than I thought.
Yeah, because you kind of remember him as like the
charming one.
charming one,
I didn't, and then I
and he
didn't know
wasn't.
and I didn't know the kid thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
so he's just a fucking asshole loser. I mean, we knew that already, but he's just gross.
God damn.
What was his IQ? I'm gonna look.
Okay, what do you think he had for his last meal?
Steak.
Kind of.
Okay.
So his last meal, his last dinner, he wanted rice, burrito, and a salad.
A salad?
Yeah, a salad. How fucking lame is that?
Wait, he got a rice burrito or rice and a burrito?
Rice and a burrito and a salad.
That's such a boring last meal.
So fucking lame. And then he had steak and eggs the next morning for breakfast.
But that's
Which is
better, at
customers.
least.
They say he was scared shitless when he was going to the chair.
I probably wouldn't even have eaten.
That motherfucker got electrocuted too. Oof.
Do you shit your pants when you get electrocuted?
Oh yeah, you shit, piss, fucking
Yeah, I thought
bleed,
so.
everything.
I don't like electrocution.
I think that's probably one of the worst ways to go. Although the lethal
It is.
injection's brutal because they're always fucking it up.
They fuck it up, but that would be the easiest way if
If they did it
didn't.
right. If they did it right. If they just like hit you with a fucking shot of barbiturates and shit,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Like, why could they not get that right? It's like I could get that right.
I know. Well, that's because these people are fucking doctors.
A heroin addict on the street can get that right.
Mhm. Find a needle. Good charge
just
nurse.
come-
Get a good charge nurse in there.
Yeah, she's got it. She knows how to dose.
Yep.
What is going on? How do they mess that up so much?
Because they're using regular prison guards.
By the way, his IQ was 136, which is gifted. 140 is genius. So he's a couple points right under. So
Interesting.
he was in the very gifted range.
Well, you know, it's true because he wasn't a genius. If he was a genius, he would have performed better in court. He didn't do well at all.
Yeah, I think he was just being a smartass.
He was just being a
mostly, wasn't he?
smartass. Yeah, mostly being a smartass, complaining about stupid shit. And he would, like your point, he would delay the trials. Like at one point, he delayed proceedings for like a week because he filed the motion to have a hearing about like the lighting in his jail cell. And even
No, he didn't.
yes, and he got the judge to take a tour of the jail cell, and even the judge was like, "Well, it is pretty dim in here. I don't know how the boy.
Stop.
I don't know how the man is supposed to read."
Are you serious?
Which the judge had such a fucking crush on Bundy. It was so weird. He called him like
Ew.
afterwards. He's like, "Oh," he gives him like this speech of evil, wicked, vilely shocking, and all this bullshit. But then he tells him, He calls him Buddy. He says it's such a shame that he could have been
No, I
such a
don't.
bright legal mind.
Wow.
He's like, oh, it's too bad you went down this path, Buddy. Just ridiculous.
That is sick. He shouldn't even have. He should have been like dismissed as the judge.
Yeah, he was all about Bundy.
Like you can't do that.
Nope. But he sentenced him to fucking death. Didn't give a shit. Except he sort of was like, oh, I feel bad about this. Nice young boy like you, smart man.
Oh
Blah,
my
blah.
God.
Yeah, ridiculous. Even
Let me
called him
ask
Buddy.
you,
That made me sick.
I'm going to ask you this one.
Okay.
Would you rather?
Oh boy.
No, it's not anything crazy.
Okay.
But you know the different ways to die, like lethal injection,
Yeah.
firing squad
Yep.
is a one. Gas chamber is one. Electric chair is the other, and hanging is the last one. Which would you take if you had to take one?
Hanging.
Hanging? You're stupid.
Why?
What the fuck? Why?
Okay, firing squad is gonna hurt like hell because for a couple seconds you're gonna be like getting hit in the kidneys, in the side, in the fucking balls, in the face.
Okay, but a panel of shooters fires at the heart. They try to fire at the heart. And it is.
Who's telling you this? ChatGPT?
It is still legal. I already looked this up earlier. It is still legal in Utah, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. And it just happened in South Carolina not long ago. Someone chose firing squad.
I mean, the firing squad is the coolest one. Like, that's the badass. Like, I'm picturing like the old movies, like you're smoking a cigarette and the guys just fucking light you up.
And it's certain. It says it's considered certain and less likely to be botched. Actually, the firing squad.
Yeah. How many people fire?
It's a panel of shooters. I don't know. It must be like I would say like 5. What do you think?
Wow.
How many people? So that's what would you choose? Did you say hanging? You're an idiot.
Why?
Because that would be awful because it hurts before you die.
Yeah, but doesn't it usually break your neck if they do it right?
You hang and then it breaks your neck, but it's painful. You have to die in pain.
To suffocate?
I was right. 5 trained shooters. So hanging is still legal in New Hampshire.
Oh!
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean...
The last hanging was 1996 in Delaware, though.
What would you pick? What would you rather? I
would rather lethal injection and hope that they didn't botch me.
But it always gets botched, and now you're gonna fucking have like your organs burning and shit. Too painful.
Yeah, and the
electricity, forget that.
No way. And gas chamber, you know how bad that is? It's rarely used, but it's still legal in California and Missouri as a backup.
I think I would do, I guess, hanging or firing squad. Now, firing squad because it's badass. That's a good way to go.
You know what? Cool. I think firing squad because it even says it's less likely to be botched and it's quick.
It just seems cooler. Because, like, if you fucking in the gas chamber or on the fucking lethal injection table, you're going to shit yourself, piss yourself, cry like a fucking baby.
So what are you doing? Running around while the firing squad? Are you
just fucking you're smoking a cigarette. Just take it like a man.
Like, are you tied up and you just stand there?
No, I think you just stand there. Actually, that's a good question. Can you look that? Why don't you look that up? That's important.
Okay, let me see. It's typically 5 trained shooters, but only 4 rifles are loaded with live rounds and 1 with a blank. The shooters do not know who has the blank. They do it this way so that they don't know who shot the people, and it's better psychologically for the people shooting.
Because they can pretend they were the blank.
Exactly. You will never know if you were the one who actually did it, who did the fatal shot. Wow. That's crazy. What do you think of that?
I think that the mental problems that executioners have must be so next level.
A lot of people commit suicide, right?
I can't even imagine.
Wow.
It's fucked up. Firing squad. Yeah, I do firing squad. What about you?
I think at this point, I thought I would never say that.
Firing squad?
Yeah. I never thought I would pick Firing Squad until just reading about all the other ones and how botched they can be.
It seems so like romantic to me. Like old Hollywood romance, like fuck you, you know? Fuck you, pigs, and they just shoot you.
Okay, but you're not going to like this.
Mm.
The person is seated in a chair,
Ooh.
usually made of wood or metal. Leather restraints secure your arms, legs, and chest. A target, usually a white cloth or paper circle, is pinned over the heart. A hood is placed over your head. And the shooters are behind a wall with openings to aim through about 25 feet away. And on command, they all fire simultaneously. So it's pretty on point.
Yeah.
If they're going to hit you because they're trained shooters, number
Unless
one.
they're shitbagging, one guy's like, fuck it, I'm going to give it to him in the neck.
True.
If you did some really, like, I would do that to Bundy. I don't know if I'd give Bundy a clean shot. Piece of shit.
But would you not get in trouble for that? Or are you like, oops?
Oops. Sorry, Sarge, had too much coffee, a little jittery.
Wow. I love these facts because I imagined, like you were just saying, someone standing there with a cigarette.
With a blindfold on.
You're so wrong.
Yeah, I was picturing cigarette and a blindfold talking shit like, fuck you, motherfuckers.
Yeah, shoot me, haha,
Shoot
watch.
me, I'll see you in hell, bitches. But
And
now, like,
instead-
you've got a fucking hood on? Nah.
You're a hood and leather restraints, you're in a chair. That's way different.
That's not badass at all. Now hanging is the cool one.
No, it isn't.
I'm talking about the one where it's like, yeah, fuck you. Because I would pick to have my head chopped off if that was still one. Like in the old days.
No!
Yo, I would definitely want to be beheaded.
No, because you've always thought that, like, your head was still alive.
It is. I'm convinced.
For a while.
It's going to be a while. Whether it's like 10 seconds or a minute, like your head's still alive, rolling around, seeing what's going on. I always want to confirm that.
And you think it can feel.
It can definitely see and think. Because it has to, right? Like, you're not dead until the blood leaves your brain.
I don't know. You're fucking nuts.
If you... Yeah. I don't know. When you see those movies, though, man, and they like the...
Movies.
Like medieval times, and they behead the person, and their head rolls down into a basket.
Yeah, like Game of Thrones.
Like Game of Thrones. I would choose beheaded over all of them.
Oh my God, you're gonna die. The last person who got Firing Squad, Ronnie Lee Gardner, in 2010, he said the reason he chose it over lethal injection was, quote, it was a good old-fashioned way.
I love it.
You kind of just said that earlier,
Yeah,
a little bit.
It is a good old-fashioned way.
He was 49, and he was convicted of murdering an attorney in a failed escape attempt during a courthouse appearance. That's why he was getting it. Oh, wow. He was convicted of murdering an attorney. Okay.
Firing Squad.
Yep.
That would be a great episode.
That would be.
Just do it on the different types of capital punishment.
Yeah, and, we could do that in like how all the last ones ended up. Because it shows what he ate and everything before. Like it says he spent his final hours meditating and reading the Book of Mormon.
Ew, what would you spend your final hours doing?
I don't know.
Not that.
Like not that. He also fasted for 48 hours, and then he had a steak, lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and a 7-Up.
Oh, that's such an old man's drink, 7-Up.
He was 49 years old.
I hate 7-Up.
I love 7-Up. You're stupid. I was just thinking, like, I like 7-Up better than Sprite, and that's such like a different take than most people.
I didn't know they still made 7-Up.
Calm down there.
Jeez, I'm getting all worked up over 7-Up.
Oh my God, we got so off track. Sorry, guys. But,
wait, is this thing still going on?
Yeah, but
holy shit.
We can end it now, but I just wanted to go through that. That was fun. I liked the execution stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Ted Bundy, Theodore. Peace out, motherfucker.
Peace.
Tune into the Crime Murder Man podcast. Andy got the facts, Amanda spitting fast. Delve into the night, mysteries unfold. Cold cases sitting deep, now the story's told. Serial killers lurking in the shadows, they creep. Amanda's got the files, secrets she keep. Andy dissecting, forensic on the mic. like a knife. Murder Man Podcast, voices in the dark, solving every puzzle piece, never miss the mark. Andy and Amanda, truth they unmask. Tune in every week for the twisted task. On the trail of a killer, blood runs cold. Eyewitness tales and legends old. Amanda breaking down clues piece by piece. Andy putting it together, never seeing peace. Whispers in the wind, serial mind unfazed. Evidence presented, audience amazed. Grim tales of murder, heartbreaking loss. Andy and Amanda, the duo, no one's boss. Murder Man Podcast, voices in the dark, solving every puzzle piece, never miss the mark. Andy and Amanda, truth they unmask. Tune in every week for the twisted task. Murder Man Podcast with twisted task. Tune into the crime, Murder Man Podcast.
For the twisted task.
Murder Man Podcast, voices in the dark, solving every puzzle piece, never miss the mark. Andy and Amanda, truth they unmask. Tune in every week for the twisted task.
Every week for the twisted task.